Welcome to New Business in Later Life, where we prove that it's never too late to pursue your entrepreneurial dreams. You will meet remarkable individuals who launch successful businesses over 50, sharing their stories, challenges, and enthusiasm. Your host, Ildiko, is a former social housing professional, textile designer, and teacher who described herself as a life artist. She is now a property professional, business network host, and facilitator of the Entrepreneurs Club. Subscribe now to hear these inspiring stories every week.
So let's go back to your lettings agency.
Letting agency, yeah.
Double question. What's been the easiest and what's been the hardest in setting up a lettings agency? So let's go with the hard bit first.
Hardest is probably learning all the rules.
All the 160 something of them.
Yes, probably. That is.
But as you already mentioned, there is like a set course, examination, all that kind of stuff.
So Arla look after that.
Right.
You might know Phil Spencer, who's on the TV with.
Yes, of course. Like the
location.
location. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the face of Arla.
Okay.
His mission is to make letting agents better qualified.
What does ARLA stand for, please?
It's the Association of Residential Letting Agents.
Yeah, makes
It's
sense.
also a milk marketing board, isn't it?
When you first mentioned it earlier, I thought of milk, indeed.
Yeah, no, it's lettings. So they've got, I can't remember now, 17,000 letting agents have gone through their courses to be qualified, just to get them more professional, more qualified.
Yes.
So you don't need to have any
Well, the government kind of wants to go that way, don't they?
They do, and they were, a few years ago, they were trying to introduce something called ROPA, which is a register of professional agents,
Right.
and get them qualified, but it all fell by the wayside. But with the Renters' Rights Bill and what Labour's trying to do now, they're trying to reintroduce that.
And put it in
I
place.
think they should, really.
To be honest, yeah, I probably would be supporting something.
Yeah, there's so many rules, and how can you not be trained in it?
Undoubtedly, there are absolutely millions of very decent landlords,
Yes.
but undoubtedly it would get rid of the rogue ones.
Yes. Yeah. The rogue one's really bad. They're not many, but what you see on the telly,
Obviously, yeah.
they like.
Is the 2% that make the limelight.
It is.
And
So
it is a
most of
shame,
them are
but-
really, really decent. The ones that I've worked with so far are really, really decent. They're trying to get the house ready for a tenant. They'll spend not any money, but they'll do anything that's wrong. They'll fix it and get it right, make it nice. I worked with one just recently who put new windows in. They had a tenant who was there for 19 years.
Oh, wow.
And when they left, it was a little bit shabby.
I can imagine.
They didn't know whether to sell it or rent it. It was touch and go. In the end, they decided, we'll put some money in and rent it. So they put new windows, new carpets, new windows and doors, carpets, painted everywhere, new radiators. Looks like a new house now.
I mean, okay, the windows are a little bit more than just a cosmetic, but the rest of it sounds fairly cosmetic.
Yeah.
And
But they're prepared to put it all in anyway, make it really nice, and there you go. And any little bits that need doing, it's all done.
Yes.
And that's the kind of landlords that I have worked with. Not rogues by any means at all. But you do see them and hear about them on the press.
Yes. And it is a shame that they kind of put the rest of us in a bad light.
Yeah. And then they try and make rules to counter those bad landlords, which affect everybody else. So like the Renters' Rights Bill's coming in now. Awful, really. Awful. Lots of it I agree with.
What
but some of it's really
the bill is
bill,
awful.
yeah, lots of
Okay.
it,
What are the worst bits that you don't agree with?
ASTs. ASTs were brought in the 1980s by Maggie Thatcher because up to that point, if people rented a house, they had succession rights. So when they died in a rented house, their spouse or their partner would have a lifetime right. And if they weren't, if they didn't have a partner, any of their family relations, any of them, children, aunties, uncles, any family who'd been with them for either a year or 2 years, with two different rules, had a succession right as well.
Yeah,
for
they
their
had to be
lifetime.
resident in the property, though.
Yes, for a year.
Yeah.
Or two. There were two different ones. And that was it. You couldn't get them out unless they didn't pay the rent or they were antisocial. Then you could. So no private landlord wanted to go into the PRS and buy a house as an investment property and rent out because they'd never get it back. Like literally wouldn't get it back.
But private renting was already in existence back at the time, was it not?
Yes, it was. And there were, in the 1980s, there were roughly 2 million properties in the private rented sector.
Fine.
Conversely, in the social housing and council housing, mainly council then, There
Well, of
were
course.
6.8 million as opposed to 2 in the private.
But the reason for that was because after the war, it was the councils, the government who were building
Absolutely.
properties and housing people.
Yeah, completely. And it was very normal to rent a property for life, and lots of people did do
Yes.
that. But what Maggie wanted to do was get people voting Conservative. So she wanted more home ownership. So she introduced the ASTs and Section 21 to make it more desirable for landlords or investors to buy a property to rent out.
Okay.
So since then, from 1980 to now, at 2021-ish, the private rental sector, there's 4.8 million. It's gone up 2.8 million, the number of properties.
Yeah.
And the social housing has gone down by the same amount, pretty much. So they've sold off the council houses. So council houses have gone. The people in the council, in social and council.
Well, the right to buy kind of stopped some time ago, though. I know that Maggie Thatcher.
No, it hasn't stopped. It stopped in Wales and Scotland. It's still in existence. They're trying to stop it now. Today, there's 4.8 million in the private rented and 4.2 in the social house, pretty much equal. There's about 9 million altogether rented properties.
Right.
They sort of think that's all right in a way now, I think, because now they're trying to stop landlords going into it again.